Hello there, welcome back to another episode of Waverly Zoo. Thank you very much for joining me today. I do hope you're well. In the last episode, we finished off our huge greenhouse here, which I think turned out quite nice. And so in today's episode, I want to work in this area next to it. As you can see, I've already got started here creating a new habitat with a large airlock system here. So this is going to be a Bengal tiger habitat. I decided, hence why there's some very large fences. I do need to make sure they're not climbable because at the moment I think a tiger would probably just climb out. So yeah, it's another one of these animals that I've never done in any of my zoos. So I thought it was about time that I looked at a habitat for them, and I've got a bit of an idea of roughly what I want to do. I want to create in this area here some kind of a sort of a ruined temple look, probably with at least 2 floors, so that the tigers can go in underneath and up on top. There'll also be probably a small pond at this end, and then lots of foliage. I want it to look quite jungly. These, tigers, they're quite shy, so I want them to have lots of places that they can get away from people. And I just want it to look quite sort of wild and overgrown. I thought it'd be nice because you've got this seating area here. I think it makes sense to have a habitat here so that people can stand up on the barriers and look down into it. I think that would look really nice, and I don't think it's too encroaching on all of this. I think in a way, obviously this is a large structure here, and really it is just for wheelchair users. So now having the habitat next to it here, I think it would encourage other people to walk along here to see into the habitat as well. So I'm sort of making more use out of this this nice slope that I built. That's my theory anyway. So yeah, so there we go. So that's my basic structure. What I'll probably also do out here somewhere on this side, I'll build a small building with a staff room and a keep out in, because I don't really have any of them nearby this this habitat. No, I have no idea where the nearest ones are actually. They're too far away, so I will need them somewhere, and there's not really room anywhere else, because this obviously I'm going to have to put some sort of an entrance in here. I might have to play around with the path here to try and square it off a little bit more to get a more direct path into here, but yeah, I'll look into that. So yeah, so there we go. So let me go away and crack on with some more, and I will be right back. Okay, here we go. So as you can see, our Bengal tigers are in. We have a pair. We have Druv, bit of an odd name, and we have Pratyusha or Pratyusha, I don't know. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. Never mind. Anyway, there we go. So they're pretty happy in here together, and as you can see, I've got to work on our temple. So the basic structure is now there, and I've done a bit of decorating. So this is mostly made with these pre-made pieces. So you have these sort of pre-made wall pieces here of various different shapes, and all I've done, as you can see, obviously this second layer, I've just turned them on this side, and you just kind of angle them, sync them together, and eventually you come up with a very unique looking design. So they've got 3 areas they can get in underneath. They've got one here, and then around the side here they have another one here. Oh no, sorry, that is it. There's 2 areas underneath, and then they've also got a bit of bedding up there. That was what I meant by 3. There's 3 bedding areas, but there's one up on the top here as well. And obviously they have this this step system here, and I think it looks rather nice. Obviously there's a lot more work to do on it, lots of decorating, lots of greenery, But as a basic structure, I think it looks pretty cool. I like all these vines as well. They're very handy little items to use. Really add a lot to something like a temple. I think they look pretty cool. And obviously the tigers can come right up on the top. They don't think they can come across this front bit, but they can come all the way around the back here, around to their bedding. And I've also just put in the water over here as well. So they've got a deep area here, and then there'll be a bit of a shallow area here. And again, obviously there'll be an awful lot of foliage all around the entire enclosure. But yeah, that's the basic structure there, and I'm really happy with how that's turned out so far. Actually, I think it's about the right size. It's quite big and over the top, but that's kind of what we're going for in this zoo. And I think it looks pretty cool from all angles. Actually, I think if you were sitting here and you saw a tiger walking around up here, I think that would be a pretty awesome sight. So yeah, coming along very nicely, but lots yet to do, of course. So let me go away and crack on with some more detailing, and I will come back in just a moment. I've done quite a lot more detailing now. As you can see, I've put a load of ivy all over the ruin. I've also put some of the other bedding down on here, not really to be used as bedding, just because I just think it looks really nice. And I've also put some roots, some of these lovely root pieces just around the edge. I think they look really cool, just coming out of the rocks. Obviously some trees, and I've stuck with my theme. Obviously this is meant to be a park in England, so all the main trees are all trees that would grow in this country. So these are poplar trees. Obviously it's a jungly look I'm going for, so really I would have put, in a real situation it would be sort of jungly trees, but it's not realistic for a zoo in England, so let's just stick with the theme. Obviously some dead ones in, because they just look cool, don't they? So a couple of dead ones upright, and one or two lying down as well. Obviously just continued that around the back here. Put some piles of rubble around as well. Actually, I think that really adds to the look of the abandoned temple. These little piles of rubble look really nice. And then these tree ferns as well. I've just scattered some of these around, and obviously the tree ferns aren't native to England, but they do grow here. They have to be protected during the winter because they're not particularly hardy against frosts, but they certainly do grow very well in this country, so that's all good. And then I came up with this idea for the floor. I've not quite finished this because it looks a bit too symmetrical, but this flooring is just one large piece with all these, what are they, planted wood panels, my favourite pieces, all just sunken in, and it just creates this lovely sort of look of a jungle floor. So I will obviously fill in some of these gaps so it doesn't look quite so symmetrical, obviously. But yeah, I think it's really effective, and I've continued that all the way along here as well. Obviously I just need to go around and tuck some of these pieces in because they're sticking out a bit where the terrain changes. But yeah, I think it's looking really nice actually. It's nice and jungle looking without being too full up, and obviously the tigers can still navigate their way around. They can still get inside. As you can see, there's one sleeping in here at the moment. Oh, look at that happy tiger. Oh, you want to tickle its tummy? I don't think it would like that. Oh, it looks so peaceful, doesn't it? Oh, I might have to grab a little screenshot, I think, of that. I think that's a lovely picture. There we go. I think that did it. Screenshot saved. Lovely. Great. Right. Yeah. So there we go. So that's my decorating done. I think that's looking really good now. I'm very happy with how that's all coming along. So I've still got more work to do, obviously, at this end of the enclosure. So I need some more trees. I need some detailing here. I'll probably do some work in the shallow bit of the water with some reeds and maybe some rocks. Probably not too much going on in the deep area. I might probably just have some trees around the outside, maybe some weeping willows. Always looks good over water, and they look quite jungly. And obviously I need to get some enrichment in. Still need to just do some detailing around the border, around the outside here. Obviously I've got this whole entrance area to look at here, and the building that I'm going to be doing over here with the keeper hut and the staff room in it as well. So still plenty to do, but I think it's coming along really, really nicely actually. I'm very happy with how this temple is looking. So let me go away again and get on with some more and be back in just a minute. Exciting news! We have a baby! Actually, we have 2 babies. Aren't they lovely? Hang on, let me just unpause this. Oh, he's quick. Where's he running off to? Oh, look. Here's the other one. So yes, our tigers have had 2 cubs. Aren't they just adorable? Anyway, what have I been up to? Other than breeding my tigers, I have been putting some enrichment items in. So, you know, nothing too fancy, just dotting them around. 1 or 2 up the top here. There we go. You can see one having a bit of a lick of his frozen fruit or meat. Oh, it looks like meat actually in there, doesn't it? Oh, I can't even click on it. Yeah, it's tricky clicking on these things sometimes. So yeah, so that's good. They've got plenty of enrichment to keep them busy. My main work has been over here. So oh yes, I put a couple of these enrichment scratching post trees in. I thought they worked fine, so I did that. So here in the shallows, as you can see, I've done my usual. So I've sunk these rocks in, put various bits of foliage down and some reeds, and it just makes it look really nice and polished and finished. So I'm really liking that. In the deep, I haven't done too much here. I've put a few rocks around. Obviously I've got some weeping willows in because they just look fantastic. So some rocks around the base of them. A few lilies as well on the water because I wanted something on the water, but I didn't want to overcrowd it. A little bit of detail around the outside as well. Some reeds, some of these papyrus. I think these look absolutely fantastic. So there we go. I'm actually trying to grow some of these in real life at the moment as well because they just look cool. Not had a lot of luck yet, but you know, I'll persevere. So yeah, so that end is sort of done now. It's nice and open. You know, this is their main sort of playing area, whereas this is probably where they come to relax. Oh, look at that! All 4 of them in shot there. That's a happy family there, isn't it? Oh, look at them playing. I do love the animations when you get 2 cubs and you see them playing together. It's really, really nice. You see them playing with their parents as well, actually, which looks good as well. Oh, look at that! They stand inside each other. That's a bit weird. Generally, the graphics in this game are very good, but occasionally you do get a few funny glitches like that. Oh, they're like Siamese twins. It's not freaky at all, is it? I think I might have to get a screenshot of that because that's quite funny. Let's get a shot there. Nice. I do like to take silly screenshots. Why not? It's what gaming's all about, isn't it? Having a laugh. So there we go. So yeah, so that's basically the habitat now done. And I am very happy with it. I think it fills this gap in very nicely. It's got the right balance of being open enough for people to see the animals from all angles, but it's got plenty in there for the animals to get away from people if they want as well. And clearly the animals are loving it. They run around all over the place. So yeah, it's really good. Really, really happy with how this has turned out. So now there's just a bit more detailing to do. So mainly this bit out here and whatever building I decide to do over here. I'm still playing around with the idea of the path system here. It's very tricky again with the railings because I want railings coming down here, but at some point I'm going to have a gap in the railings. But of course if you have a gap on one side it makes a gap on the other side, which is so annoying. I really wish they would sort that out so you could have railings on one side of a path and not the other, because it just makes no sense that it has to be on both. It's very, very frustrating, because I want an opening here so I can have a little path going into here, but I don't want it on this side necessarily. So yeah, there we go. That's you know, you have to deal with these things. So I'm going to play around a bit with the path system here and see what I can do. But for now, that habitat is basically done, and yes, I'm very pleased with it. So let me go away and just get on with some more detailing, and then I will be back in just a minute. Right, just do a small update then. So I've managed to play around with the path system a bit here. In the end, I've had to put an extra bit of path coming across here and remove the barriers, which has obviously created a large gap here. So I'm just, what I'm going to have to do is put the building in here and just fill in the gap with the fence there, which is fine. I mean, I was going to put a building there anyway, so it's not a big problem. Obviously, I've got a small gap here, so I will put one of my tree planters, I imagine, over that in the middle here. It'll look really nice. So this is what I've come up with here. Obviously, just giving it a nice hard floor, because this is where lorries would come in with the animals on board. So give it a nice solid barrier on each side with stone, just topped off with wood. Borrowed one of these, obviously this gate, from somewhere else in the zoo, and just decorated it with some basic shrubbery. Really, it's a very basic area. It's obviously there's no way of hiding all of this from the public, so you just have to you know, just decorate it a bit. And obviously this side again, just a few shrubs and some rocks, really nothing fancy, just filling it in however you can, really, because they simply couldn't hide that. It's too big and obvious, but it kind of has to be, you know, for the sake of what it is. Obviously it's going to have some fairly large vans or lorries going in there, so you can't really hide that kind of thing, unfortunately, just because of the layout of the zoo. Whereas with other ones, like with the monkey enclosure here, obviously it's all very hidden from the public, because the public are right over here, so they can't get in there at all. But you know, that's life. It's my own fault really for not planning ahead too much with this enclosure, but you know, I don't mind that. It's just part of the game. There we go. The other thing that I've done is, because I thought this was all a bit too open, this brick area along here, so I've just put in this extra bit of barrier here to stop potentially the tigers climbing the walls or jumping up the walls here. So I just put that in all the way along here and all the way along there, meeting up with the proper edge again there. Obviously the game didn't think they would jump up there, but in real life a tiger would easily jump from here onto here and escape and start eating people, and we don't want that, do we? So they would have something like this to stop the tigers from managing to climb up. In fact, I mean, to be honest, this corner here would be even more than this. It would be right out over the top here somewhere, but for the sake of realism, that's what I've done, that's what I'm going with, and I'm happy with that. I think that would pretty much stop the tigers from jumping. So yes, I'm happy with that. Just a little detail that I thought of there, which I think looks okay. So there we go. That is the habitat done, and I really like it. So you know, let me know what you think. But I think it fills that gap in very nicely there in the zoo. So all I've got left to do now is a building here. So this is going to have a staff room and a keep out in it. So I'm going to go away now, get that done, and I will update you just once more in this video. And here we are, finally finished. One little detail I added here, I'll just put one of my gates in there. I thought it made sense, needed a gate saying staff only there. So this is my main addition over here. I did put one of my tree planters just in the middle there. I didn't want a tree that filled the gap too much. I wanted it to be sort of a tall one, so I've gone with an elm, I think. Hang on, is that an elm? Yes, an elm tree. Yes, great. I thought that just works, just filling in the gap in the path there. So this was my main little thing over here. It's a pretty straightforward building, not too complicated. The guttering was probably the most complicated bit of the whole design, actually. But I kind of like it. It looks kind of cool. And again, it's a backstage thing, but because obviously it's out in the open, it's not hidden. It's being made to look as nice and pretty as possible. So I put these flower beds in here. Obviously, because of the fencing issue, I needed to fill in the gap on both sides here. So I've put these raised flower beds in with a small variety of flowers in, which I think looks kind of nice. Little veranda over each of the two buildings. What we're trying to say, the facility buildings. Sorry, so you got the staff room, I think there. No, keep hut large there, and a staff room there. And obviously, I have not done anything around the back really. A couple of ventilation, air conditioning units. Sorry, there. One of which has got some smoke intermittently coming out of it. I think that looks kind of nice. And obviously, I've left the windows open as well. But I don't know what I'm doing around the back here. So I haven't worried too much about decorating the back. I will come to that at a later date. So yeah, there we go. So now our zookeepers don't have to walk too far to be able to go and get their food for the tigers. So yeah. Oh yes, I also just finished off here. I'll put the put one of my my media board designs there. And did I do some more? I can't remember. Yes, I put one on this corner here, and I think I'll put one up over here as well. Yes, I put one up here for people to read while they're sitting down having their lunch. Also decorated with some lights. Just finished off that detailing along the pathway here and all the way along this edge here as well. So there we are. That is our tiger habitat. I think that has worked out really nicely. It's filled this gap in well. The zoo is linked together nicely, so there's lots of different pathways for people to take to get to the different areas in different ways. And I think the variety of designs that I'm doing so far is working really nice. I'm very happy with this sort of jungly look that I've gone for in this one. I think it contrasts quite nicely with the other ones. Obviously, I'm trying to make each habitat quite relevant to the animal. Obviously, with sort of Bear Ridge and then a monkey sort of raised up in the trees, it made sense to have tigers in the jungle. So there we go. So I think that's going to do it for this video. I hope you've liked it. Please let me know if you do, or indeed if you don't. I think next time I've got a bit of an idea of what I want to do here in this gap. And obviously I've got some detailing to do. So I've got detailing to do along the river here and along the river here, which I've got some ideas about. And obviously I've got some backstage area to do over here. But I've also got a bit of a big project that I want to do in here, and it's not going to be a habitat, it's going to be something else, and it's going to be quite spectacular, I think. But we shall see. So I think my next video is probably going to be this, and I may just do a short video with some highlights of other little details that I do, or it might all be incorporated into the video I do for this. Depends how long it takes me to do this project. I think it's going to be quite an epic one. So it might be quite a long video. And obviously then I've still got this backstage area here to do, and this gap to fill in here as well. So who knows? We shall see what happens next. But for now, that is my Bengal tiger jungle temple habitat. I do hope you've liked it, and thank you very much for joining me, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Until then, take care, stay safe, and I will see you soon.